How are we gonna take this, man? It's so many areas to take this. All right, I guess we'll start it like this. We'll start it like Andre started his Hey Y'all performance at the Grammys. Like, this is the last time I'm performing this, y'all. We're gonna put this Kendrick and Drake topic to bed.
Yes.
Not Like Us is 1 year old. And so after a whole year, everybody's revisiting this topic, not like they ever left this topic. And people are ranking the songs that were in the back and forth battle. You even got DJ Academic talking about Kendrick Lamar killed hip hop and yada yada. Um, 1 year later, what do we learn from Not Like Us? What does Not Like Us mean? And shit, where is it ranked as far as diss records all time?
Well, if people want to be objective, we have to throw it up there as one of the top, just because of the success. I know people are like, oh, it can't be in the same realm as a hit 'em up or whatever, but back to back didn't deserve to be in the same realm as that either, and they consider that one of the greatest diss records of all time as well. I mean, so it's in there. It has that impact. Um,
It's the
but
most successful diss record of all time, hands down.
it's the most successful. Yes, that's what I was going to get to. It's the most successful disc record of all time. But I think that's when the momentum fully went to Kendrick. But I think people need to look at this battle as a whole. I seen DJ Head and Maul talk about it on the Rory Maul podcast. They had their debate that was moderated by Maul and narrated by Rory and man, I wish I remember her name over there. Um, it's not even no shade. I wish I could remember her name over there.
It'll come to
Damaris.
you. We're live. It happened.
That's Damaris. Yeah, Damaris and Rory was mediating it, and that was an interesting convo with DJ Head and Maul. And then I see that bullshit that academics is saying that I don't agree with. But there's going to be a lot of conversations in the pod space
Well,
around this.
what did academics say? Because I know you sent that to me earlier.
Yeah, academics. He was on a. I don't know if it was a live or if he was just um on a pre-record. I don't know, but he was basically talking to somebody. I don't know who it was. Forgive me if he's somebody known. I don't really check for all the acts content, but this was viral and it was floating. He was saying that Kendrick ruined hip hop with the beef with Drake or the Not Like Us record, and I just have to push back and say I don't agree. If Kendrick killed hip hop, then it has a lot. If that's say if we're playing devil's advocate and
Mm-hmm.
we're saying yeah, Kendrick killed hip hop. Well, if Kendrick is the one that killed hip hop, then a lot of you niggas aren't what y'all say y'all were. And either
What
way,
was Kendrick supposed to do?
no,
What was
no.
Kendrick
This,
supposed to
this
do?
is not.
Not battle?
Yeah, this is the thing. This is not a Kendrick problem. It goes to show you that this is what music looks like when people do not know how to be creative. Drake is gonna be fine because as much as I disagree with a lot of like ways that Drake approached music, he's still a creative and he's gonna know how to create. The people that suffer, if anything, should kind of be mad at Kendrick, even though it's not his fault, is the outside other people that were kind of popping before all this or were getting some traction. Because honestly, those are the guys that are being exposed in this whole beef. Yeah, Drake lost, but he still has a career that has legs to still stand up. Um, those other artists solely depend on Drake, and I don't know if that Drake stimulus package comes with a lot of credibility or value anymore like it did beforehand. If you really
Mm.
look at the rundown of how many artists scored number one records or relevancy due to Drake, it's a lot of them. And even at some point in time, some people will say even Kendrick deserves to be on that list because Poetic Justice, even though I will give a rebuttal that that's not Kendrick's only top 10 Billboard 100 record. I mean, Damn had two top 10 Billboard 100 records, which Humble appearing at number one. And then I think Loyalty, or there was another record that was on there. DNA appeared at number four, and then Loyalty was
I can
number
send
14.
you a graphic of that stimulus package. I know
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
Hip Hop by the Numbers, posted it earlier. I'm going to send that to you right now. Yeah, I mean, again, And there was a story that I came across today where Montel Jordan was talking about how Drake sampling him
Mhm.
basically had got him to put him in position to recoup out of his Def Jam deal after
Mhm.
29 years. I mean, listen, you're a superstar, you put out numbers and all of those things. The thing is, man, I know that, obviously Drake, the quote unquote Drake stimulus package helped a lot of artists. But man, you coming at artists, or you coming at an MC for a battle, what's he supposed to do? Not beat you? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he supposed to just lay down?
Yeah, and this is why I say, all right, because this has so many layered conversations to it.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna talk about the fact of the matter for the topic that we're discussing right now. Here's the first point. Like, he didn't kill hip hop. What he did is he exposed hip hop and how dependent these artists were on being of um in the likes of Drake. They depended on Drake. And when you depend on an artist and you guys are not being creative or thinking about creating a next wave, when that is being exposed, or you guys, the credibility of collabing with this guy or the value of what it was to collab with them at that time, then it's just like, um,
I think
what
it's
are you guys gonna do now?
unhealthy.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's unhealthy for the game to be that dependent on one individual anyway. You know what I'm saying? And commercially.
It's not only just being dependent on him, it's being dependent on chasing the whatever wave he puts for you and chasing a wave that you guys have been riding for so long. At one point
Yeah.
in time, are you guys gonna like get creative? When were you guys gonna be innovative? When were you guys gonna come with something new? And then when you have a guy lose, him losing shouldn't have no factor on what you guys' career and you guys putting out music or whatever. They could use the excuse of, man, that Kendrick stuff is still overshadowing this. Nigga, Kendrick is on tour and Not Like Us is over a year old right now. We can't blame Kendrick for you guys' lack of putting music out. Get in the fucking booth. And you
No,
guys are not wave.
what I didn't like about the battle was, you hear me breaking up?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. What I didn't like about the battle was the fact that everybody was jumping in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like the pile on. Like, I thought that
I thought that was
that was
corny.
unnecessary. Yeah, it was like, let this be between these two guys. You know what I'm saying? It was like everybody kind of was like tagging in or whatever. And J. Cole did that for a second. He bowed out and he kind of let it be what it was. But I didn't like the whole pile on where, what I'm saying, where Rick Ross was coming in, like dropping records the same day. And I get it. Like, Drake saying slick shit about a lot of people, but again, we knew what everybody really wanted to see, and I think that some of those little um clout chases, if you will, even Kanye jumping in, it was like, that's not what we want to see. Let these two guys do what they were doing. Academic, actually, on the anniversary of Family Matters, Meet the Grams, and what was it? What else came out that day? 616 in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He did from best to worst songs in the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake rap battle.
I seen that list.
He has Family Matters at number one. He has Euphoria at number two. He has Not Like Us at three. That's very objective of him to have Not Like Us at three.
Mm-hmm.
Push Ups at four. 616 in LA at five. Tailor Made Freestyle at six. The Heart Part 6 at seven. He has Buried Alive tied there at seven. He got Meet the Grams at eight. I would change up this order a lot. How would you put these in order?
I don't
In
even
which,
care to do so, man. I'm just gonna be honest
yeah,
with you because it doesn't
it's a lot.
change what has happened. What has happened is solidified. Whoever people want to rate as whatever is gonna be subjective. I think just like Drake fans, they're never gonna be objective. They're never gonna be honest about the nature of the events. But to blame it on Kendrick, I think it's bullshit. Just like if Drake won, you can't blame it on him. But the narratives would have been different if Drake would have won. They would have looked like, oh, this guy's untouchable. He's blah, blah, he's the greatest. He's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's funny how the narrative changed when it's not your guy that's the one that's on the winning end. So but
What
nah,
does
I
this say about
don't.
rap battles in 2025 or in hip hop's modern digital era? Does this mean that the whole rap battle thing on a mainstream level is done because the fans just won't let it happen?
No, man, this is what it is. All right, so the main thing is not Kendrick that killed hip hop. It's the lack of creativity from other artists that just sat back and watched these guys do their thing. They just thought, okay, that kills our hopes of whatever is next to happen. And that's a you problem. You got to go in there and create that. When hip
Yeah.
hop became dependent on the same sound, dependent on the same guy that they could use to get a hit and all of that stuff, this is what happens when you put hip hop in the hands of people that are not creatives, that are not people
Yeah.
that are able to produce their own and stand on their own. You know, like this shouldn't have been where we've seen a stalemate. You know, it shouldn't be. When Jay-Z and Nas went at it, people were still creating after that. You still got another era or whatever. Hip hop didn't just stop when that beef happened. You know what I'm saying? Like no
Yeah.
death happened from it. It wasn't like a Pac or Big when it's like, whoa, reality check. Shit just got real. It wasn't that. These are beefs on wax. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't understand how all of a sudden this beef out of anything is the one where it kills hip hop and everything comes to a stalemate. No, niggas just don't create. Just create. Prime example, Young Thug should have one of the biggest rollouts of a debut single right now. That shit came in. You know, nobody's talking about that Thug in
Right.
the record. You want to know why? Because he came out, did that record with Future, and it's the exact same sound that he had from before he went in. And that was years ago. You know what I'm saying? That he went in for that. So it's like you guys have been dependent on the same sound, on the same guy to save you when stuff ain't going that much. I mean, Mike, he sent the image over. I actually seen this already, but if you look at that list, yeah, you have a lot of records that people had that were big that in the culture or whatever, but when it came to the charts, they didn't start scoring those chart hits until Drake. And like I said, yeah, Poetic Justice was one of those ones for Kendrick, but you take Poetic Justice off Good Kid, Mad City, Good Kid, Mad City is still going to be a classic album. You know what I'm saying? And then
it still got hits.
Exactly. And pre-Drake beef, he still had records that were in the top 10 or top 20 or even reached he had one that reached number 1 without Drake assistance. You can't say that for a lot of those other artists that's on that image. You know, a lot of them, they didn't score success before that. For example, I love Rick Ross. I could say for Ross's music, he has one. I can make an argument that he has one of the best catalogs in hip hop. But even without him collaborating with others or collabing with Drake, he will not have a number 1 record or a trending top 10 record or top 20 record in a Billboard 100. Even Hustlin' was like number 56 on the Billboard 100 when it came out. You got to think about all these big songs that Ross have. None of them were in the top 10 or top 20 of the Billboard 100. But those ones
But
where
we
he's
got to ask ourselves at that point, Savon, not to interrupt you, but how important is that to hip hop if you got records like that that don't even chart like that? Like, how important is
it opens up two things. It opens up the idea, and I get why artists say fuck the charts, because that is not equivalent or shadowing or mirroring even what the streets are saying or what's going on culturally. If you look at the charts, you think about that chart success being equivalent to what the streets and what the culture is saying, you're going to be disappointed because that's not it.
Yep.
If you happen to see
It's
who's
usually the opposite. Yep.
It's not what the culture's playing, bro. For the most part, it hasn't been. Yeah. So it's not a knock that a Ross or somebody doesn't have those records, because he has the career that can stand on his own. But what I'm saying is, I was using that as an example. What I'm saying is there's a lot of those other artists that without a Drake feature, they wouldn't be shit. And, you know, I'm just going to be honest. So if you're chasing the same sound and you're chasing the same wave and you're not being innovative and you're not being creative, then that's what's killing hip hop. We put our hands in we place the responsibility of hip hop in the hands of people that are not artists. Drake, despite what I think about Drake, he is an artist. He knows how to come out with another way of approaching music than other people. Kendrick is an artist. He knows how to reinvent himself. Every album he makes is a different like theme. You know, there are people that are real artists. The majority of hip hop, these niggas are not artists. They are algorithm and wave chasers, and they wait for it and getting the likes with somebody who's gonna give you that nod and ride to the sunset with that. But then when all that's gone, what are you gonna do? You're gonna step up, get in that booth you create, or you're gonna be innovative. If we translate that to the pod space, right? think about how many people think about, all right, 2020, COVID hit. A lot of like social media people came out, a lot of pods, a lot of like media, because everybody was constantly searching for content.
Right.
Then we get, we get people riding off the success of that, and then boom, we get media's best thing that could happen. And that's two out of the three biggest artists of this era going at it. So that gives you a
At
bunch of
one
content.
point, it was three
And,
out of the three, but yeah.
and people been living off that for a whole year of talking about this shit. Now it's kind of like, what conversations are y'all having that's further in the culture or compelling? What new artist has been broke?
Right.
Where's the same thing that's going on in music is synonymous to what's going on in the media world. So it's like, damn, you see some of these pods, it's kind of like, what y'all talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, this
Like
is a
another
time.
Kendrick topic.
If you're a creator and you know how to create, this is your time to shine, bro. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
you're
It's
right.
wide open right now. And like I said, if you're not an artist, then yeah, you're gonna suffer. This is what happens. The cream will always stay at the top of the crop, but those other
I
ones is
agree.
gonna wither off and die. So at this moment, if you're a creative, you should be all right. But if you're not, yeah, I would feel like Kendrick killed hip hop too, because damn, he made the person that helped me a lot feel like his value of a feature or the credibility is going down. And then damn, he's telling us let the party die. I can't come with the same sound. What I'm gonna do?
Yeah,
What we gonna eat, man? Kendrick back in town. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. And you know what? And that type of mentality is making Kendrick look like even more of a bully. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like this already had become a massacre, but this is looking even crazier than it looked initially. Now, I'm being objective here, and this ain't based on what I like the most.
mm,
I put the songs in order. I think Not Like Us just has to be number one. Like, it's regardless of what anybody feels about it, it is the biggest record of all time. It has tied the Grammys for the most awards that one song has ever received. It's received 5 awards itself. The only person to tie that, I forgot the name of the song, but it was in like 1957 or something. So not only is it the only hip hop disc record to ever win a Grammy, it won 5 just off of that song alone, right? Um, and not to say the Grammys are the end all be all, but the accomplishments are what they are. It's the only disc record in hip hop to ever be performed at the Super Bowl stage. I think it's the reason why he got the Super Bowl, because the song was so huge. So I don't see that there's any way around. And on top of that, this is the song that ended the battle. I know
yeah,
everybody has their opinions about disc records, like, second round knockout, even takeover and shit like that. I think when you're ranking disc records, you can't rank a disc record high that didn't win the battle. This
yeah,
one won it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, this,
yeah,
undoubtedly, all the songs in the battle or whatever, this is the one that won it. So it has to be number one, just off of that alone, outside of all the other shit I said. So Not Like Us is number one, regardless if you like the song or not. It's
if you're
got
being
the
upset,
hook, it's got the bop, it's got the most memorable lines. It is what it is. It demolished the whole thing. It was carefully crafted. It painted Drake in the culture vulture light perfectly, and it was told by the perfect person who is a keeper of the culture in Kendrick Lamar. I mean, he used what he was strong at and what his image is to defame the other guy and where he needed work at culturally. It was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. Euphoria got at number 2 just because of how surgical it was, and it came out of nowhere, and it was focused. It was very focused on just Drake. I like Family Matters a lot. I got Family Matters at 3, but Family Matters is all over the place, and it was about a bunch of different people. He, kind of spent a lot of time on a bunch of different people, where I feel like that song should have really been centered focused on who it needed to be focused on. Um, After that, I got 616 in LA. Then I got Meet the Grams. I thought Meet the Grams would have been more powerful if, there was some validity to, the things that were said in there, but he was crushing it on there. Push-ups after that, tailor-made freestyle after that, and the last one is the Heart Part 6. That was just like the white flag. So
I'm not with that.
wow.
But another thing about this beef is like another thing that killed hip hop is commentary. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like this beef, for it to be as big as it is, it was one of the less enjoyed beefs by me because it was like I found myself having arguments with motherfuckers every day about shit because like the way niggas treat hip hop now and how they have conversations about hip hop is like, yo, my guy, we'll tell you to be corny and fuck out of my face a long time ago if we're in person. Like the internet commentary is what really made this stuff like not able to enjoy musically. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like think pieces from niggas, the memes, like they whatever they did meme wise for Meek and Drake, they overdid that times two for this shit. Like on both sides. On both sides. I seen niggas that were not Kendrick fans beforehand writing essays to try to analyze what he's talking about and why there's validity what he was saying. And then I seen Drake people trying to discredit and come with a long list of trying to discredit whatever Kendrick's doing. It's like the fans made this shit so bad, bro. Like to where everybody is down there like, man, I can't wait till you guys stop talking about it. I can't wait till like this shit is over. And now I can see how people could say, man, this is killing hip hop. No, the fans, bro. It's not the music. The fans made this shit terrible to enjoy for hip hop, bro. And it's just
Was it the
like,
lack of? Was it the inability for fans to be objective?
no, it's just people that are like,
Milking it.
it's it's some of that. That's a small percentage. And then it's just people who I know is just not real hip hop fans. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the way that how they're talking about the music or how these narratives are being created. I'm like, you guys are not real hip hop fans. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys are joining in for this because this is controversial and you guys want to be a part of the moment. You know, that was a good thing about um hip hop in the eras early. You know, this is barbershop talk. People were enjoying it, and you know the debates popped off, you know, and whatnot. But the internet makes it to where there's so many unauthentic people talking about hip hop in spaces that they normally wouldn't even be having conversations in hip hop on. Like I said,
Right.
it's talked about in such a nerd like way, and I'm like, do you guys really listen to hip hop in any other time, or y'all want to be a part of this? Like I said, and back in y'all time, it's like we could say, or even older people could say, like, I was there. You had to be there for this. The
Yeah.
I was there for this now is the internet, and that's all they want to do. They just want to be here there for this moment, and then after that, do they give a fuck about hip hop or have those conversations afterwards? Are they talking about who's the whatever album that's dropping new? No, man. People just want to be part of a moment because it was like a glaring moment. Like I said, we had like white actresses and actors at these award ceremonies, like singing "Not Like Us" and doing all this stuff, and I'm like,
It was
yo,
corny.
yeah, would you guys give hip hop or nod or listen to hip hop any other time? Like I said, this shit is like, I don't
I'm
know.
glad. Listen,
I don't
time
know,
out.
man.
I'm glad you brought that up because I see in the chat people saying that I'm acting like I'm fronting like I like Not Like Us. I'm gonna be real here. I haven't heard a song get played out to this degree really since like the early 2000s, man. Like, yeah, the mainstream media or whatever you want to call it, pop circles, they made me dislike Not Like Us strongly. I don't want to hear the song. Like if it comes on, I'm turning it off. I'm turning the station or whatever. Like, or if I'm going through my timeline and somebody's doing one of them corny challenges to it, I'm swiping up, man. You know what I mean? And it's not the song's fault that it is in that place. Like you said, mainstream media wanted to chime in and attach themselves to something that was hot, that was trendy, that was that the algorithm was picking up on, and they milked it and they made Not Like Us specifically corny. They turned it into something that was like that makes you not even be able to be objective about the record. But if we're looking at the record for what it is, the beat, the success, the approach, you know what I'm saying, everything that a great disc record has, you know what I'm saying, it has to be up there. whether you like it or not. And at the end of the day, it ended the battle. If this song ain't what it is, Drake wouldn't be out here filing lawsuits. He would have responded with a record. You know what I'm saying? Like, this record was what it was. And I feel like if Drake was the person to make this record, people would be viewing this whole situation differently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the narratives would be different on who killed hip hop or not. So like when I see those type of narratives and people going with that, it sounds dumb because at the end of the day, we have a battle of two artists and two artists that'll be all right and know how to recreate. Everybody else in hip hop, what are y'all gonna do? They're gonna be fine. What are y'all gonna do? Because it looks looking like y'all not dropping no music. Is y'all scared? Y'all true creatives, y'all be popping y'all shit in these records. This is time for y'all to come out and play. One of the biggest people who I'm looking at really having a moment, another coming of a moment in hip hop is ASAP. I'm looking at what ASAP is doing, and I'm looking at Travis Scott. Because I'm
Yep.
seeing ASAP, first of all, shout out to ASAP. He's gonna be in that new Denzel movie, that Spike Lee joint. So, and then he's working on an album. So I'm foreseeing that he's gonna have a big year.
He
Um,
just pulled up to the Met Gala with a
a
this looks
word.
like an umbrella or a burner, but yeah. It looks like a
Yeah,
burner to me, but whatever.
yeah. ASAP's
Yeah.
gonna have he's gonna have a big year. He's gonna have a hell of a year whenever everything drops for him. Another person that's gonna have a good year is Travis Scott. I'm seeing that he's doing that Cactus Jack album. I'm
Mm.
seeing that he signed one of those artists that was on that Kendrick album. I see him keep on being visible, man. He's in WWE. He's doing
Oh
all
yeah.
kind of things. So I predict Travis is gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think those guys are going to be fine either way. I think this could be a very, very big year for ASAP for sure. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. Like Travis is always big. Travis, every time he drops, he's like the most streamed, whatever. I think ASAP, man, this can be a big, big year for ASAP, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're a real creative, you're real, you really that guy, and y'all be saying that in the records. Where are you at now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's wide open. It's wide open right now. Kendrick's on
for
tour.
everybody.
You know what I'm saying? It's wide open. There's nobody that's literally kind of like having a game in the chokehold right now, where not anybody can come in here and do what they do. I don't know if y'all creators, where y'all at? If y'all are rappers and
Well,
it's y'all full time job, where are y'all at, bro?
before we move on to Nas coming to Vegas, like, what's the narratives on Rhymes and Reasons? I know y'all were talking about performers in Kendrick's tour and stuff. Like, what were some of the stances on Kendrick's tour?
Funny as hell. Everything you could dispel. First, it was like, oh, Kendrick was having issues with ticket sales. Then he's selling out every city. Then it was like, well, I bet you they're not black. That's in those stands.
Okay.
Looking at a video in Atlanta, everybody swag surfing before the show start. Then it's like, then it's like, then it's like, then it's like, well, he's co-headlining. That's why he's doing those numbers. Mr. Morale was a solo tour, and he set records on that. So it's like everything you could throw, you could just
Is Jay-Z co-headlining when he goes on tour with Beyonce?
yeah.
He out
But he
doing
also
they
sold
number.
out the garden by himself. That's what I'm saying. Like the narratives that try to discredit people is hilarious, bro. It's like it's funny, but hopefully I can make it to this Vegas show, man. I gotta catch Kendrick. Even if I have to go out of country, because that second half of the tour is out of country. Even if I have to go out of country, man, I gotta catch him, and I might go try to catch Beyonce and Chris Brown as well. I've seen Brown before. I've never seen Beyonce, so with
Mm.
these performers and like how you said, you have to be there. I feel like these are the individuals you want to be there.